The opening leg of the round of 16 in Scotiabank Concacaf League set to kick off for Tauro FC and Real Club Deportivo España from Muquita Sanchez Stadium in Panama. We welcome you as Tauro is at home, set to take on this Real España side that hails from Honduras. 79 degrees and a 34% chance of rain in the forecast in Panama today. And just a slight crosswind, nothing too much to work with. You think about how these teams arrived here and what's ahead of them, a chance to potentially win CONCACAF League, not only take home a trophy and a prize, but move on to Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League in the early stages of 2019. The road to a trophy is one that will ultimately bring potential opportunity to both these sides. And you're looking at the upper right corner, and the draw right now looks remarkably good. Club Franciscan of Martinique, winners over Club Deportivo Walter Ferretti in the opening round, in the opening leg yesterday. And perhaps it's an amateur team that could end up seeing Tauro or Real España in the next round. You would have to argue that as far as opening round matchups for the quarterfinals go, this is the most enlightened of those. For Real España, the fourth most points in the Honduran League last year. They qualified as the champions with the worst aggregate record from the 2017-2018 season, as they won the Apertura title at the end of 2017 and ultimately had fewer points than the team that did qualify for Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League Marathon. On the other side, Tauro at home. They're the runners-up with the worst aggregate record from the 2017-2018 season. They, last year in Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League, blazed an incredible path into the quarterfinals by defeating a side from Major League Soccer in the United States, FC Dallas, a group that had made it all the way to the semifinal just a year prior, 3-3, went through on the away goals, and then simply didn't have the power to keep up with Club America and finished 7-1 in the aggregate as America made their way into the latter stages of the 2018 Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League. So for both these teams, there is a very different approach to this. Tauro has been there and done that in Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League with more or less this roster. It'd be difficult to say the same for Real España. They do have a lot of history in Scotiabank CONCACAF leagues and Scotiabank CONCACAF Champions League in years past. But this is a whole new opportunity for them to try and make their way in their first CONCACAF League appearance. Players are lining up in the tunnels, and these fans have arrived in Panama. They're unable to be where they typically are for games of this magnitude. Estadio Romel Fernandez, it's been rented out for a Mark Anthony concert, and so they won't have the opportunity to play in front of ultimately more empty seats. Instead, this is going to be a little bit tighter, a little more compact, and more fans here. It's also got an artificial synthetic turf surface, a turf as opposed to grass. And so the opposing side that made their way in, Real España, felt that it was a long distance from their team hotel. They never came to familiarize themselves with this surface, although they do traditionally practice on that surface. So how this will affect the two teams remains to be seen. As of now, the weather is holding up. There's no rain that's fallen yet. And the hope is this turf surface, which looks to be in fine condition, will prove to be so. You see Real España there on the left lining up. And the four match referees waiting to open up this CONCACAF League campaign for both Real España and Tauro FC. They've started their league seasons. In that sense, it's helpful, but still very early in their league seasons. This certainly ratcheting up the pressure, the intensity. International competition carries just a little more weight than the domestic campaigns do. For two teams that had no championships, that know how to win, they get an opportunity on the international stage. Scotiabank CONCACAF League, round of 16. Match number 1 for Tauro FC of Panama and the Honduran side, Real Club Deportivo España. Tauro FC meeting with the visiting side from Honduras, Real España, as they meet with the referees and their opposition one last time before they get ready to kick off in the round of 16 of Scotiabank Concacaf League. For the home side of Panama, Tauro Football Club, Oscar McFarland, one of just a couple of changes, 3 in total, made after the 2-1 loss to San Francisco in the opening round of their league tournament. Juan Carlos Garcia bringing Armando Polo in this year. A big offseason signing. Club Deportivo Fas thought they had acquired his services. That wasn't meant to be. Vargas and Jesus Gonzalez, the other 2 changes in the starting 11, with Edwin Aguilar as their center forward and their captain. Captain's meeting. And the official, Ismael Cornejo of El Salvador. And Gandhi is one assistant referee. Pupiro is the other from Nicaragua. A look at the starting lineup for Club Deportivo España. Eder Delgado is the captain for this side. Martin Garcia sending out a group that really doesn't change much from their last game, a 1-1 draw in league play. As Angel Teneda is the other change. The available substitutes on both sides. Enrico Small has scored big goals in tournaments of this magnitude. Balanta is available. There was hope that he could start. It's not the case. And for Real España, the big story is that Kevin Hernandez is on the bench. He's a phenomenal goalkeeper. He showed that last year in the league, starting 36 games. And yet in the biggest early game of this 2018-2019 campaign, he finds himself on the bench. Underway from Panama, Tauro FC in white and black against the yellow and black of Real España. So glad you could be with us to begin this new campaign, Concacaf League. Ball was flicked through with Aguilar in mind. That's out to touch. Notice Borjas to throw. A 1-year deal he signed in May. As after the foul, a free kick ensues. Garcia, a header. Alfredo Mejia, ball bouncing a bit on this synthetic surface. Corralled in the back by Vargas. Ball slipped through. won't find Lopez. And Tauro begins to move ahead 90 seconds in. Carrasquilla, one of the many holdovers from Tauro's impressive run in springtime. Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. At the feet, Benavidez. Cutting this back, Lopez. Lopez will shoot and miss it wide right of the post. There's Tauro's head man, Juan Carlos Garcia. Not to be confused with the former Honduran international. Passed away earlier this year. Boteo puts it up the right-hand side. Nino, long for Aguilar, tries to bring that down and cleared. Chance to counter, broken up. Alexander McFarland blasts it out of play for Tauro. Martin Garcia, 42 years old, named the head coach November 2017. As a manager, he's had immediate success for Real España. This will get by Gutierrez and away from Oseguera. McFarland started all 4 games in Champions League last year. Brief stint with Perez Zeledon, who qualified out of Costa Rica earlier in his career. Really made his name at Tauro in the early 2000s. The 37-year-old goalkeeper brings the experience that perhaps an Orlando Mosquera does not, the 23-year-old. It's Nino. Vargas. Boteo. Gutierrez. Trying to swivel his way through Tejeda. Borjas. Borjas out of Platense's youth program. Honduran. Playing about half the games over these last 3 years with the first team. Boteo steers it. Aguilar got ahead to that, opening up Sanchez. It's a Tauro side that hopes for a deep run here. Gutierrez, crossfield, overcooked his service. Carrasquilla able to keep it. Gonzalez, Carrasquilla, Aguilar, and diving down Lopez. Able to make the stop. Aguilar was incredible against FC Dallas in Champions League last year. 2 goals. Watch how he just drags a run across. Sees the ball maneuvering toward the penalty spot. Dropped off by Tejeda. Benavidez. This is hit up and well over the crossbar, out of the stadium altogether. Well, Tauro trying to get ready, has watched the last 4 games that Real España played, trying to get a better feel this opposition. They have never met in a CONCACAF event before. Really clever touch to keep this out in front, but it will fall by the wayside from Polo. Roberto Lopez, 18 times was the backup goalkeeper last year. Only started in 6 games. He's a 23-year-old native of Honduras. And he gets the nod over the 32-year-old Kevin Hernandez, guy who played in the Beijing Olympics going back to 2008. He's played in some pretty high-profile matches. Benavidez. Vargas. Driven direct ball. Gutierrez turned it over, holds up for Mejia, and laid off. Benavidez watches this float away from him. Carrasquilla able to keep it with the header for Tauro. 51 goals scored in the aggregate last year between the Apertura and the Clausura season in the Panamanian First Division. Tauro Football Club, that's most of the 10 clubs. Carrasquilla has this deflect aside. Leveron has to touch that. And it will be a corner for Tauro. Jorge Gutierrez trots off to the corner. All eyes on number 7 in the middle of your screen. Edwin Aguilar. The service, Aguilar backing away. So too is Amut Alexander. Aguilar knocking it over the top, diving header is speared aside. Rigoberto Nino has never scored in Concacaf competition. This is 23rd appearance. That's a wonderful idea. Absolutely paralyzed the young goalkeeper, Roberto Lopez, in his net. Lopez drives it away off that of Boteo. Nino rises up. He last to touch it. Angel Tejeda nearby. Aguilar providing a smidgen of pressure. 10 minutes in the books. In Panama, level terms, Tauro FC taking on Real España in the round of 16. Scotiabank Concacaf League from Muquita Sanchez Stadium. Held up by Gonzalez. And now he'll sprint through. Aguilar. The overlap's coming, but Aguilar will go for it himself. Knocked back. Benavidez. And away from Jesus Gonzalez. Maybe a chance for Ivan Lopez. Fall apart. Nino. Overhead kick. Carrasquilla catches up. Sent ahead for Polo. Ball played ahead. Sanchez. Aguilar missed on Polo. That's enlightened build-up there from Tauro. Pointing ahead, Lopez wants the ball played out in front of him. This is a bit late. Farland trot over, keep it in play. Mateo has had a cup of coffee with the Panamanian national team. Sanchez to Boteo, number 6 in both service and in number. Segura set to throw. Real España opened up with their Copa Presidente match. FC Congolon, 3-0 win. Polo catching up to this for Tauro. Carrasquilla. Aguilar was waiting at the back post. It didn't skitter all the way through. And a foul from Alexander. Alexander trying to keep the pressure up, stepping forward, the Colombian. Making just his second competitive appearance for Tauro. Away from Boras. Aguilar. A lot more room over here for Nino to work with in the Panamanian Clausura Best 11 last year. Some of his best work, the right fullback for Tauro. Drops down for Gutierrez. Brought down by Polo. Polo shooting. It's steered aside by Lopez. Not much to that. Enough to keep it from sneaking inside the post. Armando Polo, who went tearing through the Salvadoran First Division last year with 15 goals in 16 games. Nearly on the front foot there, the 28-year-old of Panama City. Overlap coming. Benavidez. This will find Mejia. Mejia. Nino. Off of Sanchez. Well, and you do wonder just how much Mario Martinez is going to be missed. He's the true number 10 of this group, the organizer of the attack for Real España. He's dealing with a muscle pull, and so he finds himself unavailable in this opening leg. Very much questionable for the second leg that'll come next week in Honduras. Polo held it up well. Gutierrez floats it. Mejia, player down behind for Tauro. Jesus Gonzalez has gone back to his feet. His 22nd birthday just 8 days ago. Part of what for Tauro is a very mixed bag in terms of experience. Carrasquilla's only 19. Jorge Gutierrez is only 19. Gonzalez turning 23. This is hit back towards McFarland. He's got a long run to make. He'll make it just a throw here. Lopez will cede the throw. Just Real España having them here in the 18th minute. And by Borjas. All knocked back. And taken away by the Panamanians. Polo leading the line. Aguilar opening up on the opposite side. Carrasquilla as it slipped away by Oseguera. Maybe a chance to sneak through. This is lofted by Lopez, and it's easy in the end for McFarland. Ivan Lopez making his debut with the Honduran national team against El Salvador on May the 3rd. You think about both of these teams within the construct of the future for national teams. Aguilar knocking it down. Back for Aguilar. It'll end up out for a goal kick. Lopez is a bit lucky that Aguilar didn't do more with this. It's a good return ball. Knocks it off of Marco Sanchez, who did all the work to help set it up and ended up being the biggest impediment with that ball's path to the corner. You think about Tauro, and Gary Stempel is their new national team manager. After 9 years, returns to the senior national team. He's interim for now. You think ahead for Panama. They've got a couple of friendlies coming up, Venezuela and Japan, but Japan, for instance, requiring 15 players that were in the World Cup roster from Panama. So maybe less of a chance to get these younger players in, but you see a couple guys on both these rosters getting their first real opportunity at national team level as they look forward to potentially making a return to the World Cup in Qatar. These extraordinarily powerful images. Of course, the United States missing out at Panama's expense, but there's something to be said for Concacaf welcoming a new member to that World Cup family, even if the results at the World Cup didn't pan out the way they had hoped. Tauro and Real España. Estadio Agustín Muquita Sanchez. Lopez came charging on. Turned over in midfield. Immediate answer. So run out for a Tauro throw. McFarland. Mateo. I'll turn that over in a dangerous spot. This hit out of play. Not much of a chance there, was it, from Lopez? Off of Tejeda. Muscling. It is turned over now. Gonzalez lifting for Aguilar. It's out of harm's way. Gutierrez. And now Alexander. Vargas. Carrasquilla looking for Aguilar. Can he play it back across? Loft it up. Stab at that. Polo didn't get more on it. Boteo. Gonzalez. Bit of a rip there. He's able to recover. Tauro's possession, 24th minute. Aguilar sizing up goal. Pinged outside. It's Aguilar again. Aside from Gutierrez, that's Real España's. Past the midway point of the first half here. The better of the ball has belonged to Tauro, but hasn't really amounted to much. Played through by Sanchez. Gutierrez. Service across. Falls. Carrasquilla. Carrasquilla lofting Aguilar, aiming for the corner, and he missed it. Lopez gave it a dive, a looping header. Everybody loses their mark. The defenders are caught ball watching in the end. It'll be Jose David Colon. Johnny Leveron. That's a complete loss of mark. Vargas met that. Lopez reversing. Tejeda running to the inside of him. Delgado. Broke down by way of Lopez. And Tauro begins to operate here. It's a Tauro side, notably with just 2 foreign players. This really is a team made up of Panamanians. Gutierrez. Play allowed to continue on. Borjas sends that back up the touchline. Well, that's a handball against Aguilar. Sanchez and Johnny Leveron is going to have that nonetheless. Upfield by Vargas. Impressive turn. Tejeda serving. It's knocked up and over for a corner. Last-ditch defending. And Carlos Vargas. Benavidez. Set to take this corner with 5 yellow jerseys jostling for position in unison. Shuffling one way and then the other. Benavidez. Come right back out to him. The flag up. Offside. Well, this game is certainly a commentary on fashion policy for vertical stripes. That's about all the commentary worthwhile to this present moment. We sit in the 29th minute. España has yet to put a shot on frame. Tauro's had 1 or 2 really solid looks. Four shots on target for Tauro, but only a couple really challenging for Roberto Lopez. Sent upfield. Away by Gutierrez. Good combination play. Shot is right in to McFarland. Angel Tejeda. He's very much capable of scoring from that range on a regular basis. It's the first shot on target for Real España. Are they going to follow it up with a goal? Lopez. Lopez drops back. Slide in from Vargas. This will run out to touch. Johnny Leveron moving forward. Former Vancouver Whitecap under Martin Rennie. That's Boteo for Nino. 31st minute, still scoreless in this round of 16 Scotiabank Concacaf League matchup. Tauro of Panama at home, Real España of Honduras. Their opening round competition. Two teams with an even baker's dozen. Domestic titles, 13 per. This is year number 90 for Real España. Of course, their title came with a bit of controversy. Fans from their opposition storming the field. Ended up being referred to as the longest final in Honduran football history. Well, Juan Carlos Garcia trying to find an answer here for Real España. turned over by Polo. And a foul. Benavidez going down to ground here. Yeah, it's Polo catching his back foot. Borjas. Borjas trying to sneak between three players. He'll come to Aguilar, who threads the ball ahead. Polo back. Carrasquilla couldn't reach the far touchline. Well, it's a well-in-rhythm crowd in Panama. We've got a small orchestral movement working on the far right-hand side, the far bleachers. Lopez able to maintain here. Borjas serving. That's too high for Tejeda. McFarland trying to be as direct as possible the other way. Maybe a bit of a knock here on Nino. That's Carrasquilla bringing his way back up. Coming up later tonight in Concacaf League, maybe the matchup of the opening round. One certainly to pay attention to. This is a foul. Well, España in a good position here. Get back to the scheduling of it all in a moment's time. It'll be a yellow card coming out to Ahmad Alexander. His left forearm extending up above the shoulders. Benavidez on the left. He will send the service in. It's headed down, and maybe now Tauro can counter. It's good defense. Benavidez trying not to make a mockery of this. He'll pick up a yellow card for holding up that counter. Jesus Gonzalez is trying to circle around him here. Benavidez hoping that he'll be able to move on to Europe. His dream to play abroad. He signed through 2021 with Real España. He's in Honduras theoretically for the foreseeable future. This may be the perfect spot for him to begin to show his best qualities. Maybe things are getting a little bit chippy here. The fourth official is going to be a little bit more of a mediator between the coaches at this stage. Carlos Garcia seemed to get a bit more of a talking to. Something to keep an eye on. This will be a goal kick on the way. You know, España just did not create goals at the level they had anticipated last year. Their coach saying he'd be a lot more worried if the team didn't generate anything. That may be a bit more of a concern here this evening. Perhaps it was last year. They're still trying to really break through, trouble Oscar McFarlane a bit more. This ball bouncing up on the turf. Vargas will acrobatically flick this away. Polo. Bounce off of him. Throw on the way. Herediano and Santa Tecla are the late game to close match day 1 in this round of 16. Scotiabank Concacaf League. Impressive bit of skill. Result in a Tauro throw. Herediano, one of the clear favorites in this tournament. Out of Costa Rica. Universitario 4-0 winner. Dirianjan. So the Panamanians, formerly known as Chorrillo, fine position in that quartile of the bracket. Back pass was turned over. And Delgado there to help win a free kick. Releasing up the right-hand side, Boris. Service from Tejeda. And Tauro moving quickly the other way. Aguilar. Sweeps backwards. Boteo. Nino. Kept alive by Gonzalez. Vargas, yeah, the flag is up. This was offside. 40 minutes in the books as we take a look back at this previous cross. That's, well, how close it was for Lopez. Muquita Sanchez hosting in Panama. And a player down here. Chance for everybody to cool off for a moment's time. Hot and humid at kickoff. That heat appears to have made its way into the field of play. Jesus Gonzalez is still down. Players have been a bit chippy. So too have the coaches, it appears. The fourth official has his hands full. But that's what we're talking about here. Scotiabank Concacaf League, and really, when you follow the league on the whole, you see a pretty common refrain. Teams that dream of making it to Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League. Groups that perhaps have never won a game in international competition before. Groups that see the opportunity to perhaps move abroad, expand their horizons. Gonzalez, welcome back into the field of play. You think about Concacaf League, that is the goal of it, isn't it? New format introduced a year ago. It's a great inaugural success. Aguilar getting it wide. Nino floated this over the crossbar. Gets out unimpeded. Carrasquilla wasn't able to slip this through, but he's still providing pressure here nearing the byline. Real España to throw, final 90 seconds before stoppage time. Oh, there's extra there. Unnecessary from Mood Alexander. He's drawn the referee's ire the rest of the way. Referee just spoke to Aguilar, rather, the captain for Tauro. And truth be told, other matchups in this round of 16 have actually had more steam than this. Boteo. Tauro able to keep this. Alberto Carrasquilla able to knock it wide. Gonzalez gets it back. Gonzalez for Polo. Corner on the way for Tauro. Jose David Colon will get the deflection here. Polo, 5'7", standing right on the goal line. 2 added minutes in this first half. Gutierrez, the corner, toward the back post. Alexander knocking it back in towards Sanchez. There's an appeal for a handball, and it does look like the defender put his arms behind his back. Nino. Oh, it's a real mess here. This ball hopping around. Tauro maybe a chance to serve this across. Vargas. Over Vargas. Well, there are no refunds for the signs. That'll be a halftime project. Well, it's just become that much easier to get to the dressing room once we reach halftime. Pushing forward. Benavidez will move this to his left. Well, here comes the counter, and there's not enough time for it to conclude. So we've made it through the 2 minutes of added time. Tauro on level terms. The officials have more to do in that opening half than the goalkeepers did. Hot tempers between Real España and Tauro, as the home side of Panama unable to sneak one through, though they had the better of the opportunities. Real España settling for just one really solid shot on target this opening half, as Edwin Aguilar pulling his team together as they begin to make their way off the field with 45 minutes in the books. In this Scotiabank Concacaf League round of 16 opener, it's Tauro 0, Real España 0 at halftime. Halftime statistics, and it's Real España who have a halftime possession advantage, 52-48. And really neither team came in here with the goal of counterattacking. This really was a pretty straight up opening half. Although it did seem like Tauro did have more of the ball. It turns out not to be, statistically at least, the case. Tauro, certainly the more physical team, 9 fouls in that opening half. But they also the more attack-minded team. 10 shots. They put 6 on target. And it was a good opening half for Roberto Lopez, the 23-year-old goalkeeper. He makes 6 saves and has kept Real Club Deportivo España on level terms at halftime. First half highlights, Scotiabank Concacaf League, round of 16, leg number 1. It's the debut in the tournament for Real España and Tauro Football Club of Panama, who are at home. And we look at Real España trying to push the tempo upfield. They had a couple halfway decent looks. Aguilar among the better opportunities for Tauro, the captain, proving his incredible mettle as Nino goes diving in on this service across the area. We see Armando Polo send a ball that was a bit of a change-up just inside the post, but a good save to keep it away. this combination play, ultimately off the back of the player that made it all happen, Marcos Sanchez. And it gets knocked wide by Aguilar. Aguilar open header moments later. This sails wide right of the post. One of the better opportunities for Real España. A little back heel setting up. And an easy save in the end for Oscar McFarlane. Trying to use the right-hand channel to their benefit. Little effort to chip that. Falls short. And this is really the story of the first half at times. Half chances. This is Polo, gets into the box. Ultimately deflected out. And with 45 minutes in the books, the referee blowing for halftime on level terms between Real España and the home standing side of Panama, Tauro FC. As they made their way to the locker room, with yellow cards and fouls being just as big a statistical element as the shots and the score line. At halftime, it's Tauro FC of Panama and Real Club Deportivo España of Honduras, 0-0. Welcome back to the 2018 Scotiabank Concacaf League, the round of 16. One half in the books, and I said that, well, you couldn't just bring another sign out. They have, after the Scotiabank sign midfield got crushed right before halftime. They have indeed found a way to put that back together. Welcome me back to Panama, where Tauro FC is the homestanding side in this first leg. Real España, the reigning champions in the Apertura season, hailing from Honduras, try and get a road goal and a massive advantage, but a long way to go here as the referee checks his watch, gets us ready for the second half of play. We've been told from the field that both coaches have been warned, different players have been warned. Certainly there has to be just an element of concern that this doesn't get out of hand. Gustavo Chara is waiting to make his way in, although the fourth official is trying to keep him on the sideline for a moment longer. Well, are they going to make the change or not? That's going to have to wait. So we're underway in the second half between Tauro of Panama and Real España of Honduras. This is Gonzalez. Sanchez stepped in, but Real España pulling upfield the other way. Oseguera. Leveron. Well, it's a foul here. The referee is pointing toward the touchline. And, well, we've been told that this substitution was brought to the fourth official's attention too late. But now Gustavo Chara does come in. He started every game in the Champions League run for Tauro last year. And he'll replace Alexander, who, to be fair, was hedging his bets as to whether or not he'd last the match if he went the full 90. He was on a yellow card and appeared to take an additional warning. So this is a positive move from a disciplinary standpoint for Tauro. Real España puts this in play. Benavidez. Attempt on the free kick came up short. This is away from Gonzalez. Segura. Can Delgado switch this into the right channel? He did it well, but the touch corresponding wasn't nearly as impressive. Gutierrez. So it is a throw for Real España here. Away by McFarlane, and Tauro aiming for Gonzalez. Kicked aside by Chara. Nino backed in. Leveron set to throw. Mentioned he played in Major League Soccer, also played in the second division in Mexico. Foul conceded by Real España, and Tauro takes over again. Gustavo Chara came from Deportivo Cali in Colombia. Was their last defensive signing the start of this calendar year back on January the 8th. Aguilar got up high, rolled over the defender. So Aguilar will move away. Give the Real España defender a moment to recollect himself. It was a good first half for Roberto Lopez, that's for sure. He did play once last year for Platense in Concacaf League. Started one game. He was on loan from Real España. It'll be interesting to see whether Lopez is the guy moving forward. Hernandez has a bit more age and experience. Headed straight down by Gonzalez. So not Aguilar. Segura. Picked up by McFarland. Rolls it ahead. Sanchez signed a 2-year extension back in December. Broke down by way of Carrasquilla. Boteo. Look ahead, and they'll have to host Alianza before they go away to Real España next week. Important for them to try and find something here early. This ball cut across. It's out of the reach of Polo. Tauro trying to make good on that. Good flighted ball to find Gonzalez, and then the extra little tap around Vargas. Polo streaking into the 18. Boras sent that into the stands. There's Sanchez again. Carrasquilla tried to pump the brakes. Upfield by Boras. Vargas ran it down. It's a throw here for Tauro. They're hoping to get a good result here, if anything, to alleviate the bad start in their league. 2 precise errors and 2 goals dropped, and all of a sudden a loss to San Francisco in their opener. They play here in Panama, and if you get a home goal, give yourself a breathing room. That time this finds its way into Honduras next week. Polo, and now Gonzalez. Carrasquilla. That's the handle. It'll get out to Nino. Sanchez faces up. Nino widening out. He was looking to get in behind. Instead, Boteo. Boteo plays it on the ground now. Off the turn, Sanchez. Gutierrez. Sanchez again. This is really patient right now from Tauro. Nino chested down. The turn is on. Dropped off. Got deflected on the way. Nino sticks his foot in, trying to keep it for Tauro. Stayed in. You saw their manager, Juan Carlos Garcia, trying to continue the pressure as they had him pinned into the corner. Real España able to escape. Much more energetic defensively from Tauro in this second half. Nino there to take it away. Vargas puts it back in play. Oseguera. Well, the run never came, and Oseguera is staring daggers back in that direction. He did all that work and doesn't have anything to show for it. McFarland has the ball for the goal kick. 56th minute of play in Panama. Traditionally, games for Tauro in this league be played at Estadio Romel Fernandez. Instead, they're playing Estadio Muquita Sanchez Chorrera in Panama. It's a locale about 39 kilometers outside the capital. It's a preference to play at home. They do practice on turf, so this isn't too unexpected for Tauro, playing on a synthetic surface as opposed to the traditional grass. Mateo looking to play it ahead. On the other side, mentioned earlier, Real España, their hotel was a bit of a haul for them to get here, and it was decided better to rest than to better acquaint themselves with the surface here. Really, the service hasn't been at fault for the current 0-0 scoreline. Gonzalez, touch from Aguilar. Gutierrez on the ball here at 18 years old. He started 18 games in the Panamanian First Division. Chested toward Aguilar. This will fall toward Sanchez, but there's a whistle from Aguilar crashing into the defender. Alan Vargas. Tauro, one of four reaching another Concacaf league this year. They were in the Champions League earlier this year. Returned to Concacaf competition so quickly. Crossed by Gonzalez. Tejeda. Tejeda's one of the most skillful players you'll find in all of Honduras. Nino had one of the best chances of this game so far for Tauro, a diving header. He just missed the frame on. This group's first Concacaf League appearance. Aguilar lifting upfield. Carrasquilla comes away with it. Trialed with Benfica in Portugal a couple years ago, unsigned. Often a player who exerts himself on the game. Number 8 in black and white on the night. Boteo. There's Boteo now. 8 years. Panamanian First Division. Really proven his worth over time. Diagonal finds the corner. Gonzalez. Gonzalez out in front. And Polo watches a great opportunity escape the byline. Gonzalez, that's a really solid cutback. With his left foot, put a good service in there. Just the right touch of curl. Armando Polo a bit unlucky. Called in to find Gonzalez. Carrasquilla. Aguilar will follow in pursuit. And Colon ran it out. 61st minute, the benches are up and moving now. There's some really good options on the bench. Maximiliano Cayorta, native of Uruguay, is available for Real España. Number 9, both on the back of his jersey and positionally, a really strong center forward that drew the attention of Juan Carlos Garcia, the Tauro manager. Enrico Small, among the big names that are available for Tauro, did not make the start. Boras throws in. Collision in midfield. Borjas is on it again. Alfredo Mejia. Benavidez. Benavidez. Puerto checking in. This is the first sub made by Real España. Leveron comes out. Really didn't put much of an imprint on this match, Leveron. Meanwhile, Puerto comes in having played North American Soccer League last year for Puerto Rico FC. Goal kick on the way for McFarland. Real España beginning to toy with their available options. Puerto, amazingly, has played with both Olimpia and Real España in Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League and never found a way to score in his 16 appearances and 6 starts. So maybe this is the opportunity for him to finally break through continental competition. It's the captain, Eder Delgado, down and in pain. Oh, that got up and hit him in the face. Did not see that coming at all. So the trainers will come out, look at him. Tauro hoping to follow in the good fortunes of the other Panamanian teams. They have had a wonderful tournament so far. Universitario taking Dirianjan out to the woodshed, 4-0 in the second half. Their game last night. Arabe Anido, 3-goal victory over the Jamaicans of Arnett Gardens back on Tuesday night. Tauro's probably got the toughest draw of the three teams from Panama, despite the fact that they get to start at home. Glum faces right now on the Tauro bench. Not a lot to be excited about right now. Aguilar is following the referee. I think there's a discussion as to who should get to put this in play and who it belongs to after all that. Oh, we're on anyways. Estadio Muquita Sanchez in Panama. Tauro, after a powerful, exhilarating run through Scotiabank Concacaf Champions League last year, been held on level terms to this point. Big bruising effort from Chara defensively. Segura to throw, and came over from Motagua 2 years ago. Motagua, 2-0 winner over Belmopan Bandits of Belize. Well, this will fall really kindly. There's some contact in the box from Vargas. Not enough. Ivan Lopez to draw a penalty. And instead, Carrasquilla, can he sneak this in behind? It's snagged on the run by Lopez. Nice back heel, good bit of skill on display. Sanchez will play it further. Sliding challenge. Only served to slow, but not stop Tauro. Nino. Knock back, Sanchez arriving. It'll fly out of play off a really wicked deflection from Delgado. It is a corner for Tauro. Look at Sanchez get up, and that didn't miss the corner by all that much. And Tauro, off the restart, trying to continue on through, but Sanchez went all the way through. Well, the Real España manager was right about this. He said that instances of CONCACAF, complicated matches for both sides. Both managers talking up the level of competition from their opposition in the lead up to the round of 16. There's great respect between these Panamanians and the Hondurans. Polo. Out by the defender. Seems to be playing out well for Al España, and then a heavy foul from Boteo. Boteo just comes in and throws his left shoulder and his right forearm into the mix. This be the moment for Real España on the road. Navidez, right into McFarland. Did get the flick on that he was looking for. McFarland misfires with Polo in his sights. Segura, advantage played. Navidez. Sanchez. Polo. Sanchez, can he switch? Gonzalez trying to get in behind. Gonzalez still. Aguilar puts it in. Tauro ignites Panama. The home side lead. And it's that man again, Edwin Aguilar. Whenever this team has needed big goals, Concacaf play these last 2 years, he's always been much obliged. It's a calm finish, and Jesus Gonzalez, a tremendous run in, shrugging off pressure and putting it on a platter. The bench ecstatic, the players celebrate, and Tauro in position against Real España. It's a bit funny, Aguilar, last year, one of the local papers was asking, how many goals are you going to score? Is it going to be 15? And he said, I never want to put a number on goal scoring. It turns out he scored 14, one short that suggested number. But he's always had that nose for goal. This is his 5th stint with Tauro, and he's scored well over 100 goals. Cayorda is coming in for Real España. If you're looking for an offensive shot in the arm, this is it. Nanel Tejeda, who's typically top-tier kind of player with Honduras Progreso in the Champions League a couple of years ago. He was really impressive, but didn't all come together for him on the night. Way by Gutierrez. It's a chippy play by Otis Boras. He's got Champions League experience with Motagua, including scoring against Alajuelense, the side from Costa Rica. Well, Tauro has an advantage right now. If Real España finds a way to equalize here, the away goal is that first tiebreak. Put them ahead, going back to Honduras. This will be a yellow card to Colon, who came on at center back for start of his 4th year for Real España. Seemed to bash Aguilar in the side of the head. was called up for World Cup qualifying. Cologne. He becomes the second player on the field right now for Real España to be playing on a yellow card. It's maybe a little far out for a shot. Gutierrez standing by the ball, and the big body of Gustavo Chara trotting forward. He and Aguilar are the two focal points. Ball sliced to the back post, headed back out in front. Nobody was crashing the net. It's another foul in a pretty similar position on the field. It's put in play by Chara. Edwin Aguilar. Another in a long line of goals in Concacaf competition for Tauro. They've got a 1-goal advantage over Real España. Still a quarter of an hour to play in Panama. I mean, if you want to talk about two countries that are consistently raising their game within this region, I think any discussion that would leave out Honduras and Panama would be an ill-fated one. And you began to hear it last year in the back stages of the hexagonal, how far Panama was moving forward. When you hear coaches talk about the National League taking steps forward and that being a sign for the growth of football in a nation, that's pretty powerful stuff. Sanchez, let that drop down. Snapped upfield by Carrasquilla. Gonzalez trying to get off on the loose again. Throw Tauro. Clausura runner-up. Start of this year. Help them qualify. Ball for Aguilar. It's cut away. Gonzalez got in. He's tackled. Boras is still down. Gonzalez is rolling around. Gonzalez winning this foul in part because of his ability to press. You can see how both these players would catch the worst end of this. Gutierrez and Sanchez standing over the ball. Goalkeeper might get caught in no man's land here. Tough position on the field. Sanchez, it's in! But it won't count. Flag is up, it's offside. Referee immediately waving that off. Aguilar was out front. He and Gonzalez were the two closest to it. Well, España can't turn it the other way. Instead, Sanchez. Mateo. A second home goal would be enormous this juncture for Tauro. Navidez intercepted upfield from Oseguera. Turned over to Mejia, who promptly gives it back to Tauro. Polo. Marcos. Sanchez moving it across. Boteo. Jorge Claros is waiting next to the fourth official. Will be a full complement of attack-minded substitutes for Real España. Advantage played. Gutierrez kicks it out. Final change. Eder Delgado comes out. He did not make the 18 in their opening game in the league. Claros comes on. Delgado didn't really have much of a night to remember. Advantage played for Tauro. Polo trying to run this down. A little bit of a bounce up on Lopez. Handles this well. Chance to serve nearing the byline. Aim for Cayorda. Sanchez drops this down perfectly. Can they get him behind? No whistle, Gonzalez. Felt he had been crumpled over. Juan Balanta, bottom of your screen. His number will be on the board next. This will get out for a goal kick. Edwin Aguilar comes off. The goal scorer is done. He's done his job. He's got the captain's armband off. I'll look to hand this away. Didn't have to do all that much on what would have been his second goal, but the flag was up for offside. But in the end, he won't bag a double, as he did against FC Dallas in Champions League. He'll simply make way for Balanta. Nino. Back by Chara. Still one more sub available for Tauro. Real España's burned through all three. Navidez. His dad and two uncles played professionally. Turned over. Balanta will catch up to this. Well, there was an immediate appeal for a foul previous. Cayorta went unheard, and then the other way. Helens Vargas committing a foul. Jorge Gutierrez strides over. Gutierrez punched aside by Lopez on the leap. Now a foot race. Chara using brute strength. At the halfway line, Carrasquilla. Boteo. Tauro, 1-goal lead. Edwin Aguilar, 71st minute. Is it enough for the home side to carry an advantage away to Honduras next week when they visit Real España? Do the visitors have some late magic in them? Turn the tide here. Carrasquilla has to reverse to take over. Gets swept aside. Good run. Navidez. And now the shot. Will hold up. Cayorta never took it. He is carded for simulation, it does appear. I thought Cayorta was going to go there. He does make contact with his back foot. You'll give that. Cayorta surely can't be happy with that. Change has been made. Gabriel Chiari has come in, the final sub for Tauro. Number 77 in black and white on the night. Cayorta trying to force this away. Chiari. Sanchez. Back by Claros. Stifling pressure from Tauro. Puerto. Navidez knocks it to the left-hand side. It's out in front. And wide, Cayorta's run. It was Carrasquilla who came out for Chiari. Chiari came off the bench 3 times last year in Champions League. Only played a grand total of 23 minutes. Looks like he's on pace to try and play a similar role this year in Concacaf League. Balanta taken down. A really good account of Tauro on the night. Off the head of Boteo. Well done to get the ball back here. Navidez. Claros. Service whipped in and cleared over Chiari. Navidez. This will fall. It whipped up and over the crossbar. How about the ageless wonder of Oscar McFarland on the verge of a clean sheet? 90th minute. It's the fourth official preparing to offer up stoppage time. McFarland left his area on this clearance. 4 added minutes separate Tauro from a return trip to Honduras. The one home goal advantage. Ball too far for Cayorda. Balanta still into this. And now he's fouled from behind. Oseguera just kept coming. The right side. Nino is coming. Boteo! I didn't know he had that in him. So often he sits so deep you don't realize. That's a good idea from Boteo. Puerto wanted to move. España slows to a crawl. There's nobody out wide left. Claros. Claros now into a bit of a pocket of space, but turns it over. 90 seconds left at minimum in stoppage time. Sanchez, Polo returns. Sliding save from Roberto Lopez. It's knotted up for the big number 9, Cayorda. Tauro toward the halfway line, and Real España beginning to charge forward. A road goal here would turn this whole thing on its head. João Benavidez. Truth, McFarland makes 2-3 fairly run-of-the-mill saves, and, well, that's enough. Not sure that's man of the match worthy, but he's done his job on the night. And puts Tauro ahead after one leg in the round of 16. A clean sheet for McFarland, a goal from Aguilar. And the home standing side from Panama lead with 90 minutes to play in Honduras. Well, España did well in the end not to concede anything more. They aren't able to find anything of value. Jesus Gonzalez helping to combine for a phenomenal goal with Edwin Aguilar. Came in the 71st minute. Man of the match quality performance. Aguilar, the goal scorer, in the 71st minute of play. And he has scored a lot of goals, 10 in total in 25 continental tournament appearances. And Aguilar able to pull together another giant goal for Tauro in a game that was chippy start to finish. The referees trying to maintain decorum. But for these fans that traveled out 40 miles to the west of the capital, Panama City, their side has picked up an important home goal. And you think about what's ahead for this Concacaf League. The second leg of this matchup will turn to Honduras, as it'll be at the Estadio Olímpico Metropolitano in San Pedro Sula on August the 9th. Aguilar, the goal scorer,